All right, YouTube. This is Detroit's HPTV coming to you on a Friday morning. Now, we can tell that this is going to be one heck of another weekend. Every week, something new transpires. But today, I want to talk about Michael Eric Dyson. Michael Eric Dyson, the professor, the scholar, the elite bourgeoisie that likes to tell Black people who to vote for, what is racism, and he's the king of word salad. But let me tell you what Michael Eric Dyson does. Michael Eric Dyson goes on CNN, argues with one of the people on CNN, Caucasian lady. He argues with her, right? Accuses her of supporting white supremacy and being a racist. Okay, that's what he do. He race baits. Now, what we're talking about is, as soon as he gets finished race baiting, he goes home, texts her, jumps straight in her DM, direct message, and tells her how good they look together and don't tell nobody. And this is a professor. This is this so-called intelligent guy. Like, after he just accused her of supporting white supremacy, what would make his black behind get in her DMs and try to flirt? Did he not know that she was immediately going to expose him? He wasn't that smart. And then she exposes him on the Congress floor. Now, is this what we call Black intelligentsia? This man is over 50. You know, they talk about Pookie and Ray Ray and how other men make bad decisions. You got to see this was just plain dumb, Michael Eric Dyson. You would accuse her of being racist, and then you would try to flirt with her? You can't make this up. Let's watch the clip. This is for fair use in the 1976 Copyright Act for Education and Commentary in the First Amendment. I can't believe this. Watch these whole clips.
This press conference was a great example of a speech littered with all the things that he's been focused on for a long, long time. Is he capable, really, of staying completely on message here?
No, of course not. This was not a press conference, first of all. This was a campaign rally speech. He even had his supporters there at Bedminster, and he fooled the press once again, by claiming he was going to have a press conference. He spoke for 45 minutes before he even allowed a question to be asked. And when he did, he was just filled with lies over again. He made this comment about, more than 100% of new jobs that are created.
I'll play it. So just so you don't have to paraphrase what it was. Listen.
Virtually 100% of the net job creation in the last year has gone to migrants. You know that? Most of the job creation has gone to migrants. In fact, I've heard that substantially more than beyond a number of 100%.
Beyond a number of 100%.
I guess I need my calculator so I can go shoplifting with Donald Trump, because clearly you can't have more than 100% of jobs going to migrants. You can't even have 100% of new jobs going to migrants. It's not only mathematically impossible, it's just plain stupid. And how does this guy get taken seriously? How is it that he is a presidential candidate for the highest office in our country when he can't even complete a...
He got a lot of nerve. Look at these so-called representatives of the Black community. How can they be taken serious? On the left. Watch this clip, because when you get to the end and you see what Michael Eric Dyson does, you're going to have a whole new look at when it comes to him.
Press conference without spewing lies and misinformation and obvious falsehoods.
Well, if you want to talk about misinformation, we can talk about Kamala Harris's Google ads, like literally taking headlines from mainstream media and rewriting them, which should be against Google ads policies. But what's stupid is allowing people, criminals, to go into stores in California and not being able to arrest them unless it's $900 or $950 and more.
The problem
and
is
you
that that's
see
not actually
videos,
what's true.
And you see
That's not
videos
actually
of
what the
people
law is.
going into stores in these blue cities and blue states, stealing merchandise and not being stopped. We've all seen these videos.
So
But
should
to
Donald Trump not be allowed to
be-
go into a store because he's a convicted
Well,
criminal?
I don't think anybody at this table should be surprised that Donald Trump stood up for 45 minutes, an hour or more, taking questions, giving a speech, because if you're holding your breath for an Oscar nod, that he did that. Don't hold your breath, because no one's going to believe you. This is what he does. He stands, he gives speeches, he takes the questions, he gives the answers. And to date, more than 3 weeks in, Kamala Harris hasn't given a single interview. She hasn't come on your program. She's not answering questions.
It's
She's not
Kamala,
giving
first
speeches.
of all. It's not Kamala. It's Kamala. And she's not yet the candidate. She's only been in office, only been a candidate for 3.5
She's been
weeks.
vice president for 3.5 years.
Yeah, and Trump went a whole primary season without even doing a debate.
And
So,
half
you know,
of America
but you
isn't
can't-
stupid because the Republicans in this country
But it's a
voted
false-
for him, nominated him. She didn't earn a single vote in the Republican.
got
But
We're
you
talking
see,
about Michael
it's a
in here.
false equivalence between what Donald Trump is doing as an autocrat, as a fascist, as a dictatorially
not a
inclined
fascist.
man.
That's
the man's
that's crazy
aspirations
talk.
are huge. But the point is that Donald Trump has lied so repeatedly that we normalize his mendacity, his misogyny, his hatred for the ordinary citizen who happens to think logically about these issues. Now, he's got a whole bunch of stuff from the stores up there.
Now, are y'all watching Michael Eric Dyson? Watch him and pay close attention to what he says. Then we're going to go to the next clip.
He doesn't refer to it. His economic policies are vapid. They are empty. He has nothing to say.
She has
to
no
these people.
policies on her website
And
at
then
all. She's got more
the
Zero
point
pronouns.
policies and 9
Donald
pronouns
Trump
on her website.
sits there and tells lie after lie, and he gets normalized by good people like y'all who don't call him out on his board.
Kamala Harris has more pronouns on her website than she does policy. The only thing she has on there is donate. She's running a Seinfeld campaign. The show is about nothing.
No,
But-
absolutely.
And she's winning, right?
She's not winning,
No, but
actually.
remember, she's aided and abetted by mainstream media. If you saw the headline by a neighboring network a couple weeks ago, days ago, when Donald Trump came out with his no taxes on tips policy, all of the headlines on mainstream media were derogatory. Kamala Harris comes out with her no taxes.
Kamala.
Harris comes out with her policies on no taxes on tips, which is Donald Trump's policy, by the way. All of the headlines on mainstream media were positive and glorious and thoughtful.
I guess y'all are
It's
standing
a
up for him
different
because he
standard.
didn't say any of this today. Everything
this
you're
is
saying
this is
is
a
nothing he's
question.
ever said.
One of the things that we learned about her policy that she's going to roll out is support for a ban on price gouging. Now, I think reasonable people would ask, what does that mean? What does that really mean? And how is the government going to be involved in it? Here's Noah Rothman in the National Review. He describes this policy as a rank pander to the economically illiterate. And despite the presence of many who fit that description in Congress, they understand that allowing the executive branch to functionally set prices is a brain-dead idea that would only hurt consumers in the long run. I mean, is this just a ploy? Because it sounds kind of like it.
Well, look, if you like it, it's called good policy. If you don't like it, you call it pandering.
But is it really policy? I mean, price gouging?
Look, if she could do that, Lord have mercy. I mean, she might need to be the Pope as opposed to the president, but she's able at least to set the tone. Here's what's important. First of all, in terms of Kamala not speaking about, Vice President Harris speaking about issues, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Everybody has said that what she is doing is genius in the sense she's out-trumping Trump. So Trump is
Her
pissed.
campaign is being operated from a basement.
Wait a minute, hold on, let me
She's not
let me
out
just
there.
finish.
She's not
Now, you see, he already lying. There's not anybody who thinks that Kamala Harris is a genius. Come on now. Let's be serious. Kamala Harris and genius, that's not in the same sentence. But watch some more.
Trump
She's
is being
She's not doing anything.
Trump is being undermined by Trumpian-like politics in the sense that what she's done is, I understand when I'm going to speak, I understand what I'm going to say. She's going to form her policies and she's going to articulate them. Now, whether we agree with them or not is another thing. The point is, the strategy is not backfiring on it. Number two, in terms of polls, the polls are a statistical dead heat. You say that means that she's losing. I'm saying for Donald Trump to have already been president once and coming back with the same reruns, Donald Trump is in a very vulnerable
Talk
position.
about rerun. Kamala's.
Oh, you had it right. You almost got
I
it.
will
You
say
almost
Kamala's
did
name
it.
any way that I want to.
No,
but Kamala's.
you mispronounced her and you also misjudged
I
her.
just did, and I'll do it again.
Mispronouncing her name.
That's a refusal to acknowledge her humanity.
If I purposely mispronounced your name, that would not be appropriate.
Policies are Joe Biden's policies. She owns
You're
it.
normalizing
33
that kind of
times.
viciousness, man.
33
Disrespect.
times.
But it's the-
She
you
was the
disrespect
deciding
her.
vote, and she was the
Senate
vice
on
president.
Joe
Biden's bill.
We know.
Watch Michael Eric Dyson. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this Democratic shield. These Democratic shields on the left, they something else. Check him out.
33 times the deciding vote on Joe Biden's bills in the Senate.
Let me just say this, because this Congresswoman is a wonderful human being, but when you disrespect Kamala Harris by saying you will call her whatever you want, I know you don't intend it to be that way. That's the history and legacy of white disregard for the humanity of black people.
So now you're calling me racist.
I didn't say. I just said you weren't racist.
That is complete.
No, you don't have to intend racism to
No.
accomplish
You are
it.
intending that I am
Your disrespect
racist,
of Kamala
and
Harris
that
is part and parcel of a tradition of disrespect.
Why can't you just, Congresswoman?
And it's
Why can't you just?
offensive.
I'm not calling you a racist. I'm saying what the practice is
You
racist.
are. You absolutely are.
The practice
Let
me get
disrespecting. No, what's disgusting
That
is
is
your
disgusting.
disrespect of her.
Professor.
This gentleman said,
You know
I
what?
didn't know her name.
Disgusting
He's
to
trying
women
to do
is
it.
her disrespect of women. She doesn't know what a woman is. And if 25 years ago,
White women don't have the ability to tell black women who paid the price of blood to make this country what it is to tell them they're not real women.
25.
Did you hear what he just said? He just said white women don't have the right to tell black women who paid, he's advocating for black women. He's calling this white woman a racist. But see, these how these race baiters do. On his public forum, he's calling her a racist in his defense of Kamala Harris and white women and her name. But check him out.
You're here for your babies
25
and
years ago,
respected
I
your
became the
humanity.
first woman to graduate from the Citadel, the Military College of South Carolina. I
So
fought
call her
my
name
way
right.
through it.
So pronounce her name
blood,
right.
sweat,
Let
and
me
tears.
actually
Pronounce her name
and
right.
Kamala Harris, if I were
Kamala. You said
I
this
will
before.
say
You
it
Nancy
any way that I
Mace.
want.
It's
Come on,
Kamala.
it's
You're
Kamala.
doing this on purpose,
I am
Congresswoman.
not.
Disrespectful.
Just a second.
If,
You can't expect people to
if
respect
a
your
man put
service
on
if
a
you don't
skirt and
respect
walked
her.
that stage 25 years ago, she
You're a
would have
white
said
woman
it. She would have
disrespecting a
taken
black
that
woman. That is
achievement away from
problematic.
women.
That's
Dyson,
That's
let me get
disgusting.
in here.
Okay, you heard that. At the end, he said that she was a white woman disrespecting a black woman.
Chair recognizes that.
Now, who would have thought that after this exchange, that Michael Eric Dyson would jump in her DMs and send her private messages flirting with her after this situation? And in his mind, he really thought that she wasn't going to expose him, talking about slow. Watch this clip.
A lady from South Carolina, Ms. Mace.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My colleagues across the aisle said that those that cannot pronounce Kamala's name correctly are elementary-aged children. I would like to enter into the record an article by Newsweek saying Bill Clinton pronounces Kamala Harris' name wrong during DNC speech. Bill Clinton, along with Al Sharpton, rapper Lil Jon. Let's not forget that Joe Biden can't say her name right. Neither can Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor. And this morning on Morning Joe, Joan Baez called her a camel. So I don't want to hear it. It's fake outrage. I would like to also enter into the record a screenshot of a text message I received from the esteemed professor from Vanderbilt, Michael Eric Dyson, after my CNN interview, begged me for photos. In this text, he says, after calling me racist on CNN, shh, don't tell anybody, we look good together, and sent me a kissy emoji.
Without
then
objection.
the guy
Order.
says I'm gorgeous and all these. I don't think he's that bent out of shape on how anyone pronounces Kamala. And if we're going to have that standard, you got to hold it to both sides, not just one or the other. On to the issue at hand. I want to thank you, Mr. Chairman, for our witnesses being here today. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have presided over the worst presidential administration in American history. Biden and Kamala Harris inherited a country with a strong economy and next to zero inflation. Under the Biden-Harris administration, inflation skyrocketed, wages stagnated, and the American families are struggling to make ends meet, as we're all well aware of today. Biden and Kamala inherit a world at peace and turned it into a world at war. Our allies are under attack, our adversaries emboldened, and America embarrassed on the world stage. In fact, even being forced to evacuate 7 embassies during this administration. Biden and Kamala inherit a country with the most secure border in our nation's history. They flung our borders wide open to the largest invasion of illegal aliens our country has ever seen. The illegal aliens Biden and Kamala have led into our country have gone on to rape and murder American citizens, including our women and girls, including 158 Democrats who voted against deporting illegals who are here, murdering, raping, and who are also pedophiles, harming our women and girls. Biden and Kamala can't even tell us the difference between a woman and a mentally ill man in a dress. Of all Joe and Kamala's many failings, I'd like to focus my 5 minutes today on immigration. I'm down to about 2, so we'll be quick. During her failed 2020 presidential campaign, well before her coup against Joe Biden, Kamala Harris completed an ACLU candidate questionnaire outlining her policy positions. I'd like to examine a few of her responses and how they've informed her work as border czar, since she says her values have not changed. Mr. Chairman, I would like to enter into the record this questionnaire, ACLU Rights for All Candidate Questionnaire 2019, Kamala Harris.
Without objection, so ordered.
Thank you. One of the strangest responses from Kamala in the questionnaire was when she indicated she supported providing taxpayer-funded so-called gender-affirming care for illegal aliens in immigration detention, which we all know is cutting off their private parts, taxpayer-funded cutting off of their private parts. So, Mr. Krikorian, is this occurring under this administration, and what are the serious safety consequences it may pose?
The safety consequences of the procedures themselves, I'm not qualified to talk about, but clearly it serves as yet one more incentive for people to illegally immigrate into the United States. In this case, people seeking a particular kind of medical procedures.
In the questionnaire, Kamala pledges to slash funding for ICE, cut immigration detention by more than 50%, and even express support for ending immigration detention. Have Biden-Harris presidential budget request reflected Kamala's desire to cut ICE funding and immigration detention?
Detention funding, absolutely. It's decreased significantly, and in fact, it needs to be increased significantly because detention is the one way you're going to be able to deter people who want to come into the United States and be released. If you don't release them, the appeal of trying and spending all of that money is significantly less.
She pledged to end the use of ICE detainers and criticize the cooperation between ICE and state and local law enforcement. How is this going to negatively affect our country?
It would make it extremely difficult to enforce immigration law because ICE is a relatively small agency and doesn't walk around the streets asking people what their green cards are. The main vehicle for finding illegal aliens, if you don't do worksite enforcement, which this administration has essentially stopped, is working with state and local law enforcement. When they arrest people for state and local crimes, their fingerprints go to DHS and they're flagged as somebody that they know to be an illegal immigrant. A detainer is the request ICE sends out to say, hold on to this person for 48 hours at least. Up to 48 hours so we can go and get them. If you're not using detainers, it is one of the most pro-criminal policies you could imagine because the only people protected by...
Okay, that's the end. But I want you to show you how, on the left, Michael Eric Dyson cries racism and then jumps straight in her direct message and tries to date her. You can't make this up. He didn't know that she was going to expose him on Congress floor, his direct messages. Say it ain't so, Michael Eric Dyson. You so pro-black and defend black women so much that you made this blunder in this political atmosphere. Not too bright, Professor. Well, anyway, this is Detroit's HPTV coming to you out of Detroit. Like, share, and subscribe. Support the nonprofit, Detroit's Black Thought and Axe Collective. The Cash App is in the description. As always, salute to all patriots. Peace. Keep your head on a swivel.